Okay, question 8. It says circle the value of cos 30. Now, if you're just watching these videos to quickly check your answer, I can tell you now that the answer is root 3 over 2. So if that's all you wanted this video for, then that was the answer. What I've done underneath is drawn a table to show you how you can work out all the values that you could ever be asked. So sin, cos, or tan, 0, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. And this is using the trick that I learned through watching MathsWatch. So what you're going to need is your left hand for this. And you can see on my left hand I've drawn on 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90, which are all the possible angles they could ask you on a non-calculator paper. So you have to use your left hand, and you don't have to obviously write on your hand, but once you've got the hang of this, then you'll be able to do this. So what you need to remember is, for example, on sin, I've put on there on the left, okay, and underneath I've explained what we have to do. So we have to square root the fingers, and because we're using sin, it's the fingers on the left, and divide by 2. So let's have a look at how this works. So if I wanted to do sin 0, I take my thumb and put it down, and if I look at the number of fingers on the left of 0, well, that's nothing. Okay, so I'm doing nothing divided by 2, which is obviously nothing. Okay, so sin 0 is 0. If I wanted to find out sin 30, I put down my 30 finger. And remember, sin is on the left, so it's 1 divided by 2. Okay, square root the fingers, so square root of 1, because it's 1 finger on the left, divided by 2. So the square root of 1 is just 1, so it's actually just a half. But look at the next one, sin 45, put that down. So I've got 2 fingers on the left, so I'm doing the square root of the fingers, dividing by 2. So square root of 2, I can't simplify, so I can leave my answer like that. Let's do the next one. Sin 60, 3 fingers on the left, so square root the fingers, divide by 2. And I can't actually simplify that, so root 3 over 2 is correct. And my last one, for sin 90, there's 4 fingers on the left, so square root 4, then divide by 2. So square root of 4 is 2. Divided by 2 gives me 1. So sin 90 is 1. We look at cos. So cos is on the right. Square root the fingers on the right and divide by 2. So for cos 0, there are now 4 fingers on the right. So square root of 4 divided by 2. That's the same as 2 divided by 2, which is 1. The next one, cos 30. We're just looking at the fingers on the right. So root 3 over 2. That can't simplify. The next one, cos 45. Just looking at the fingers on the right. Square root of 2 over 2. And that cannot simplify. For cos 60, put down my 60 finger. Only 1 finger on the right, so root 1 over 2. Square root of 1 is the same as 1, so I can just write that as a half. And finally, cos 90, put down my 90 finger. There are no fingers on the right, so I'm doing the square root of 0 over 2. The square root of 0 is 0. So when I divide by 2, I get the answer 0. Now for tan, the rule is slightly different. We're still using our left hand, but this time we divide the fingers on the left by the fingers on the right and then square root. So for tan 0, the fingers on the left is 0 because there's no fingers on the left, divided by 4. Then we square root. Well, that's going to give you 0. For tan 30, divide the fingers on the left by the fingers on the right. So on the left it's 1 divided by 3, then square root. So that's the same as root 1 over root 3. And we could rationalize the denominator. So if I times everything by root 3 over root 3, I get root 3 over 3. So that's the form you're most likely to see it like this in an exam. Tan 45, put down that finger, divide the fingers on the left by the fingers on the right, the square roots. So that's just going to give me 1. Tan 60, divide the fingers on the left by the fingers on the right, and the square root. So it's going to give me root 3 over root 1, which is the same as root 3. So that simplifies to root 3. And finally tan 90, put down the 90, divide the fingers on the left by the fingers on the right. So you're doing 4 divided by 0, but hang on a minute, you can't divide by 0, so that just comes up as an error if you were to put that into your calculator. So you would never be asked this one. Okay, the other ones you could be asked for in a non-calculator paper. It's well worth learning this or using drawing a triangle or otherwise memorizing it off by heart, because there will definitely be questions on this.